Kieran Gillen and Pascal Ferry finally pass judgment on the most devout of Eternals as Ajax's time as a servant of God is called into question. Kieran Gillen dives into Ajax's complicated history surrounding her god and her devout nature this issue, honing in on the woman's faith and exploring how too much faith can be a detriment to a person's belief and to those around them. It's so interesting seeing Ajax given all of these chances during her tests to do something different than her usual deifying or praising of the god of her own making, yet she never strays from her path, which is why she is no doubt going to fail before the Celestial decides to withhold judgment yet again. Itself kind of an interesting idea since it's happened before, and it feels like the being is not only kind of toying with Ajax a little bit and her faith, but also being a bit more egotistical and narcissistic as well, traits we very well know it has thanks to Tony Stark being the basis of its nervous system. Like other one-shots, Gillen uses the issue not to just be a tied-in side mission adventure, but deepen the idea of the Judgment and explore pretty hard themes like faith, expanding on ideas he's gotten in the main Judgment Day book as well as ones left out from his Eternals run, specifically the stuff with Ajax, who got her own one-shot exploring her faith, and that just builds on that. Pascal Ferry dives into Ajax's test with some very character-focused artwork that matches up with the other one-shot book's art really well, keeping an almost light, dreamlike atmosphere consistent throughout all of these books, while small spurts of chaotic action are dotted through. Judgment Day Eternals issue 1 was a thoroughly interesting and enjoyable look at Ajax and her faith, and how too much faith in one's god can lead to fanaticism and violence, all while expanding the scope of the event's stakes. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Judgment Day Eternals issue 1 finds the strike team watching Jean unleash her powers on the progenitor. Angered it failed her. Logan knows that she will calm down, and Ajax hopes that she doesn't since they are making good progress, but Sinister wants to see some actual proof. Makari just wants to gag him again as more antibodies attack the team. Ajax needs time to plot their course through the progenitor, but the Celestials can't fight the enemies because the Eternals' principles are preventing them, so Jean mind controls them, using the Eternals to fight the antibodies. Iron Man meanwhile knows why everyone's on the team except for Cersei, who reminds him that she is there because they were having lunch when the Avengers kidnapped her. Tony wants her to stop deflecting, so Cersei says that she is there to represent the Eternals since Ajax and Makari are priests and can't be trusted. Tony wonders why they should trust her since she failed her test, wondering why she failed it. In the recent past, Cersei implores Icarus not to tell his secret to the humans, but Icarus is intent on letting the people know that when an Eternal dies, a human is sacrificed to resurrect the Eternal. Icarus leaves despite Cersei's pleas, so Cersei calls up Jack of Knives, wanting to hire him to trick Icarus into thinking that he must stay quiet about the truth. In the present, Cersei wants to know how Tony passed his test, thinking since the progenitor is based on his nervous system, he's just narcissistic enough to let himself pass. Tony knows that she is deflecting again, but Cersei continues to try and move past Tony's questioning on why she failed her test. She is frustrated that the Eternals are being judged at all since they are coded creatures, so they don't really have any choice in life. Makari says that the scripture was interrupted so the progenitor can judge them. Cersei asks who has been judged and who hasn't yet, and Sinister reveals he hasn't been judged yet and Ajax's judgment was stopped, so she is waiting for its final verdict. Jean thinks that Ajax's test is to get them to the center of the progenitor, but the woman isn't listening as Ajax finds herself transported to Olympia and to the presence of her progenitor god, which tells her to make a pilgrimage up to it. Ajax walks up the stairs and soon meets a being called Kataka, who reveals that back when Ajax was killed by the prehistoric Avengers a million years ago, he was killed to make sure she was resurrected, making his life the first life she ever took, and she cannot get past him without killing him again. Ajax kills the man without a thought, leaving his kids to mourn him as she meets with Vart, killing him before he even finishes the story about how they know each other. Ajax asks how many people she must kill, so the Celestial says that she must kill 1,000,000 years worth of deaths, and she must remember them all. Ajax knows that the god is cruel, but continues killing her way through them before asking if she passes her test. The Celestial knows that it's not that easy, since while she knew the eternal secret to resurrection this whole time, why did she not reveal it? Ajax knows that she is a priest and is practical as well, so how would the humans knowing their secret help them in any way, since they would just be hated even more and nothing would change as the Eternals are literally not capable of change thanks to their coding. Ajax says that she never died deliberately, and while she has profited from the losses of others, humans in the rich countries of the world eat well from the pain of others, and for any of them to judge them is close to delusion. The Celestial finds her arguments well practiced, but they only apply to the rich, not the poor. The Celestial calls her an unfaithful priest, revealing that it knows that she summoned the ghost of the original progenitor, Celestial, and beat it into submission. So what's stopping her from doing that again, since who could trust a priest who fights with God? The Celestial attacks, but Ajax smashes it to pieces, professing her faith and how she believes in true God, a true God that she would murder a million false gods to get to. The Celestial knows that she definitely isn't a hypocrite, but she is a fanatic, and thanks to that, she has killed many cities on Earth just by birthing the new god. Ajax knows that the progenitor can be a better god, wanting it to just have some faith as the progenitor gets ready to judge her, knowing that there is faith and then there is too much faith. Ajax stops his judgment, knowing that this might be all a test for both of them, not believing that it will fail her and she won't fail it. The progenitor relents, reactivating the first principal firewall within Ajax that Jean took down, telling her that there will be a final conflict and it's only then that she will find freedom, but Ajax knows with the principles in place there is no freedoms, and she cannot harm the Celestial or allow him to be harmed. The Celestial assures her that she will have freedom in those final moments as Ajax is brought back to reality, telling the team that she knows the way. Iron Man asks if she is sure about that, but Ajax isn't, however she does have faith.